The Black Community's Obsession with Thickness by Cherri Talks Fitness. Honestly, it's really not an obsession with thickness. You're just straight up fat and overweight. That is the harsh truth. There is some weird obsession with being fat. I don't know why, right? There is the stereotype of what was it? Jamaican men being into overweight women. It is a bit weird. I don't know where it came from. I don't know when it spawned, but it happened. And well, now we're here promoting in parts unhealthy lifestyle. And we're not talking, right? Like it depends, right? Because like the problem is like we have like thick, big boned, curvy, but at the end of the day, hot take, these are all just replacement words for overweight. Not gonna lie, the one on the left isn't fat or overweight, shouldn't be here. Honestly, kinda not. Kinda not. But we'll have to go in and see more. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. We're gonna look what is meant with thick, or if we're talking about the American thick. Because depending on where you live, thick can mean different things. Anyway.
But just because certain fat distribution patterns are more socially accepted does not mean the health risks automatically disappear.
Oh, and I feel like it's crazy that this needs a disclaimer anyway.
As a Black woman who's into fitness and has gone through my own weight loss journey, I've noticed something that honestly bothers me a lot within the
I'm a white boy who works out and has had multiple fitness journeys. Moving on. Weight loss journeys.
Black community when it comes to Black women and fitness. And the thing is, the messaging oftentimes feels so contradicting because, on one hand, women will get criticized for being overweight or obese.
The word thick is misused in the Black community a lot. I think it's because thick sounds nicer than saying big or the F word. I'm gonna say the F word because I don't want my video getting flagged, but you know what I'm talking about. FAT. You know.
Fat. Which, by the way, it's insane that we have essentially nuked a normal R word that really isn't that much of a big deal. Let's just call it by what it is. It is fat. There are people out there that are fat. And I feel, hot take, I feel like we have so much made it taboo to call people out when they are living an unhealthy lifestyle that about 50%, not in every country, but I'd argue 50% of the Western world is fat. That is a harsh reality. And fat does not only, right? Fat does not only mean overweight, right? I wouldn't even use the term overweight because that is not describing a reality. Somebody who has 10 kilograms of muscle, right? And their supposed weight technically is supposed to be like 70 kg, but they are at 80 because of the muscle. They are not fat, but they are overweight, which is why I don't like the term overweight being used for people that are fat, because that's not the reality. Somebody can be overweight and not fat. Somebody can literally also be have a normal body weight, right? Somebody can have a normal body weight and they're still fat due to body fat percentage. I think it's time to start calling people by what they are, which is fat. That's all I'm saying, right? F word is crazy. That they're acting like it's the slur for gay people. There's a difference between fat and curvy. Yeah. Yeah, because curvy is usually just a woman with a higher body fat percentage. That does not mean she's fat. Also, fun fact, in the opposite direction, here's a fun fact. Women are not built to have abs. Fun fact. You're not supposed to have abs. The more you know. In fact, you can be really unhealthy when you have abs as a woman because you're supposed to have a higher body fat percentage. Do you know? Your body will tell you by having irregular periods or no periods at all. Anyway.
What I'm talking about. But yeah, I think that the reason why people default to saying that somebody thick when they big is because it sounds better and it sounds less hurtful. When I think of thick, thick has always been like two different types of thick growing up. You had your slim thick, which would be somebody like Lisa Ray in her prime, and then you had just thick, which would be like Delicious from Flavor of Love in her prime. Like those were your examples of thick, slim thick, and then just regular thick. And it seemed like as time went on, more and more.
I always associated it with having certain fat distributions, right? Like particularly like around the bottom area, right? That's what I always thought was meant to be thick. And then the other thick is just like you're a little chunky. Anyway, I usually I just think of when somebody says thick, I usually think, you know, the first one and not the like delicious.
Sizes were starting to be added to the category of being thick. Like you got women who not only do you have this big wide butt, you got a stomach, you got big arms, like everything's big, but you're calling yourself thick. And it's like, well, no, you just big, right? And that ain't no shade, but you a little bigger than thick. Like we're starting to cross the line of what thick is versus big, and that's where a lot of the confusion come in at. And so you got these girls going around saying, I'm thick. And then the thing is like your butt ain't even really big. It's just wide. And it's not shaped nice, right? Like the shape of it is sloppy. And again, this ain't no shade. I'm just being honest. Like it's not a shape.
Just stop running around, just like talking about the. Stop talking about around the bush. Just call it what it is. Obesity. That's what it is. Obesity. That's what it is. And I'm tired, right? I'm tired of like, oh, don't hurt. You can't hurt people's feelings. Yes, I can, and I will. Because I'd rather tell you the truth the way it is than later attend your funeral or see in the headlines, fat influencer dead, pop star dead, heart attack, clogged arteries. I'm just done. It's not shaped nicely. Right.
Shapely, nice butt. It's just a big, sloppy, wide butt. And because it's so big though, you got somebody sitting there calling you thick. And it's not a real thing.
But then once a woman, especially if you are black and shaped a certain way, starts losing weight and looking leaner, people will have a lot to say.
Okay, mind fine.
Anybody remember Lizzo? When Lizzo started losing weight, and there were these fat people, right? Straight up, I'm gonna say the way it is. In the comments section, shaming her, attacking her, insulting her, harassing her, because now she, right? At first, they looked at it and they were like, "Oh, she's like me, right? I feel represented." Right? I have the right. They were essentially using somebody popular being overweight, being obese, as a justification for them being obese. And when essentially, basically, Lizzo put a mirror in front of them and saying, "Hey, yo, I lost weight. I want to be more healthy." They crashed out because they felt betrayed. Not only is that an unhealthy parasocialism, they use the way other people look as an excuse for the way they look, which is insane to me. She's talking about it like it's food, has varieties, it should look nice. I mean, there is no denial that it should look nice.
Anything, because I do argue back. I am probably like 130 now, but I used to be damn near 180. Okay? Trust me, I've had 3 rolls.
The thing is, like, we misunderstand skinny as well. If you're skinny to the point where, right, I can see your abs, that is not a skinny that you should attain for as a woman, right? Unless you're, like, naturally in a way where it's like, you just don't gain fat in that area, fair. right? Can't do something against that. But we have a problem. We glorify too skinny, and we glorify with way too fat. And that's where we are now. It sucks, but that's where we are now. Nobody knows how to nose ring theory. We haven't heard her say anything yet, so we'll see. So she's probably talking about how overweight and how obese people are.
My back. Listen, I've been there before, but let me say something. Being skinny, it is not the beauty standard in the Black community. I don't feel like I even have to explain myself, but I feel like I do. Cause y'all just fight all day about that shit, and it's like it's not. We are not white. White people set that system up. We are not white.
So this content
Never mind. White people set that system up is an interesting concept. Because there are multiple other societies that are not white where the standard is to not be fat. I am pretty sure. Okay, never mind. Nose ring theory applies here. Correction. You're right. You're right. It applies here.
creator showed her transformation of how she went from 210 pounds to 156 pounds, which in my opinion is very impressive.
Very based. Very based. Yeah. And she looks great. And she looks great. Look at that. And she looks great. Fair. Right? Absolutely. She gained some gained some serious definition, especially around the look at those legs. Right? Perfect. Great for her. Fantastic.
But then when you look at the comments of this creator's transformation post, there's men in the comments saying things like,
Oh, 200
These people are glorifying obesity. Straight up. They are just glorifying obesity. What is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you people? Genuinely, what is wrong with these dudes? Wife material, husband, and baby. What the fuck? She looks healthy. Yeah, she looks healthy. And these dudes are like, be fat.
210 pounds is perfect. 210 pounds look like wife material, husband, and baby.
all because of how the weight was distributed on her body. And the thing is, there is a high chance that if her body fat was distributed any differently, these same people would not be saying the same thing. Because as a Black woman, especially online, being overweight only becomes acceptable or desirable if it comes with a very specific shape. And you know what shape I mean, like the slim waist, fuller hips.
I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't agree with that. Being overweight online, yes, you get mean comments. But you get other women that lie to you and tell you, oh, look how beautiful you are. You're so pretty, queen. Yes. You are killing yourself. And the people in the comment section are essentially rooting for you to do it. That is what is happening, right? You have to look at like the comment sections, right? Of like, look at fat dudes, right? Look at fat dudes, the comment section, making fun, saying you should go to the gym. You have both men and women doing this, right? You look at the comment section for a woman that's overweight, right? Glazing. You either get hate or you get glazing. For men, that's not really the case. If you're a chunky you're a chunky as a dude. At least you have the stereotype of at least being funny if you're a fat guy. Anyway. Oh, and the best part is, I can't be as harsh as I want here because I've been a fat guy at one point. I can do this. And I did lose weight again. I've been a fat guy twice. Or a chunky guy. Anyway. These fat people eat the table. They are the table.
Basically, the hourglass figure that's always praised on social media. And honestly, I think it's very offensive to tell somebody that they looked better obese because it looked a certain way.
Habas, if your waist and your stomach is smaller than your hips and your boobs, like if you're shaped like a number 8, right? Coke bottle, no matter what weight you're at, people are gonna call you thick instead of fat. I forgot the name of that TikToker, but she was like drenching her Chipotle with bullshit, you know?
I'm white. I don't have that problem. I can call you fat, and I will.
and everybody was like, "Oh, you're gonna be so big," and everybody was like, saying what it was, And she gets on here and she records her body, right? Big old booty, big old boobs, but her waist was smaller than both of those combined. Like both of those. Okay, cool. You're shaped like an 8, but nonetheless, you're still big. Like you are fat. Just because you got a fat ass doesn't make you smaller. It doesn't make you thick. That's not what thick is. You're a fat girl. You just got a tiny waist.
She is absolutely right. And I have a perfect example of this situation with a post that I came across like a while back. As you can see in this screenshot, right? This woman posted about her weight loss journey. She said, lost the weight, kept the curves. In the left side, you can see she was 195, but in the right side, she was still curvy, but she was
Good job. Good fucking job. And see, she kept the way she kept the way she looked. Perfect. This is good. This is good. Though I think honestly she might have back problems, right? She might honestly have back problems a little, but I don't know. All these women are not playing. Yeah. And they're right. They are correct. They are right. That's the right. They're right. They're correct about what they're saying. But yeah, good for her.
130 pounds, and she was just hyped about it. She was happy, and then everybody in the comments just started eating her up, saying, oh, on the left you looked it better, you was thick. She was like, no, I was fat, I had all kind of health problems, I'm happy at my 130. And then people just going at her saying, oh, I could see your bones in the right picture, you don't look good, you should have stayed at
We have completely lost the plot on how a normal human body looks like. Like, since we're all seeing fat people all day, right? Well, not all day, but like we're more used to seeing and stuff being normalized, right? And honestly, right, they're doing that. Let's face it, they're doing this on purpose, right? They make all these sugary, addictive drinks so you get fucking fat, and then you have to go to the doctor, which makes them more money, and you have an infinite cycle of that. Yes, have the conspiracy theory that they're not selling us healthy foods on purpose.
195. I was the only one in this comment section that kept it real with her. That's my post right there. Real Talk Chris. I said, everyone praising 195 over 130 is the prime example of enabling obesity in the Black community. This is why Black women choose to not prioritize their health. She probably feels 10 times better at 130 over 195. And I said, congrats on your milestone. And she pinned my comment because I was the only one keeping it real. And not only did all of those people in the comments go at her, they came at me too. Oh, this is what I don't like about N-words. They always trying to lie and stuff like that. It was nothing wrong with her body composition and all of these things. We don't go to white standards of BMI. And this is what I hate in the Black community when it comes to our Black women. Y'all
The only thing holding back women is other women, but that is true. They did a study, right, where they essentially, right, with like the haircuts, right, and like if a hairdresser, right, a female hairdresser, right, and when a woman came in that looked more attractive, subconsciously the hairdresser would make her hair would look worse. They did that before, and it is to a degree true, right? That's why I'm saying, right? Arguably, all these hot take, all these beauty standards are from women, are by women for women. Moving on. We can literally, for once, right? For once, there's a funny study. Even the corn that men consume is more diverse than the corn that women consume. Moving on. Moving on. That's all I'm gonna say.
I have been lied to forever. You can be 300 pounds. People will say you look good. Us Black men, we don't get lied to like that.
As if a woman is supposed to spend hours training,
I feel like men in general are not getting lied to, right? There's nobody in the comment section for like an overweight man, right? There's nobody in the comment section going like, "Yas, king," right? There's nobody saying, "Yas, king, keep eating. You look great, man." Nobody's doing that because we all know it. And I'm kind of glad that men are a lot harsher in that regard because it's not male fat influencers that are dying, it's the female ones.
Watching what she eats, prioritizing her health, and building discipline, also she can fit into someone else's fantasy of what a woman's body is supposed to look like.
One of the things about losing weight as a Black woman is the fact that people will look at you dead in your eye and criticize you for losing weight and being on your weight loss journey, especially if you are more of a thicker Black woman. I post my transformation a lot online to inspire women, and the comments that I get from people that are like, "Why did you change yourself? Oh my God, you look so good."
See, the reason is like when people crash out when they see other people's weight loss journeys is simple. You are holding a mirror in front of them. You are essentially saying, "Hey, this is what it could be," and you are not. You're holding a mirror in front of them. You're essentially signaling in their brain that something that they notice then that something is clearly wrong with them, but they refuse to accept that. Or you watch Home Math because you're saying the same thing as him. I have occasionally watched Home Math, not too much, but I agree with a lot of the principles that he says, right? Especially when he says the one thing when he said society's not built by individuals but by relationships, right? And if people start doing basically like a brick house, if each brick starts doing their own thing, society collapses, and that's where we technically are right now.
The thing is, I was 200 pounds at 5'6". I was obese. Like, that was not healthy for me. But the fact that I was bottom heavy and I had a smaller top, physicality gets prioritized over general health and wellness in the Black community. And it's incredibly frustrating because you have a lot of women that are in the sunken place that swear just because you have a big butt, that supersedes health, right? For example, whenever I was that size, like, I was literally a hamburger away from my stomach pudging over and me not being able to wear crop tops and having to tuck my stomach in my leggings. Like, that wasn't comfortable. And the fact that obesity, specifically with Black American women, is so rampant because of this idealistic, sexualized, version that people have of Black women with having to have these extremely enormous butts is so frustrating.
But before we get too far into the video,
True, true, true. She's right, right? She's right, right? And it's also like even as a guy, right? I'm like back then I never wore anything I would wear fucking hoodies in summer, and if I were to fucking die, I would like wear like XL t-shirts because I simply didn't like I couldn't do that, right? And if I ate anything, I could just like change essentially would need to change the pants because they wouldn't fit anymore, and like that button would fight for its life, and like, right, it is also not fun, right, if you go into like a pool and it's like you have man boobs and like fat is quilling over on the sides. It's just for yourself not good to look at. And honestly, I cannot imagine people running around like this and feeling like good about themselves, right? In like, I'm not meaning like they're constantly sad, but like looking at this and be like, yeah, that's actually good. I don't know. Doesn't work for me.
I want to introduce myself. If you're new here, my name is Cherri, and on this channel, we talk about all things fitness, health, wellness, online gym culture, and sometimes the very weird things happening on the internet. And today's video is definitely going to be one of those conversations. I think this conversation is important because we cannot ignore the actual health statistics within the Black community. According to the CDC, Black adults in the United States have some of the highest rates of obesity compared to other racial groups. Black women specifically are disproportionately affected by things like obesity, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, and type 2 diabetes. I don't know about y'all, but growing up, I watched older adults in my family deal with those exact same health issues. And I think it is important to mention that obesity does not always look the same on everybody.
Some of you might hate me for saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The Black community has this unhealthy obsession with being thick. And don't get me wrong, I am not opposed to a curvy body, you guys know, right? However, the health metrics and what we should be placing at the forefront, those cortisol levels, those cholesterol levels, that blood pressure, those are the metrics that we should be caring about. And if being thick,
Wait, you're saying we should actually focus on being healthy? What? Shocking. I know. Wow. What a revelation. I mean, a lot of people don't accept that revelation. I'm going to say it, right? I'm going to say it, right? Why this is all put on men, this unhealthy obsession. You see a lot of women doing this too. Women just do it different. Men are like, oh wow, this is so attractive and so hot, even though it's actually life-threatening and dangerous. And women are in the comment section being like, yas, queen, you go, you look great, girl, right? We have like two sides of the same coin. And let's not face the reality, and let's not forget the reality while we are talking about black people. Yeah, us white people, we're also getting fatter and fatter. Everyone's getting fatter and fatter, except for Asians, supposedly. Well, particularly Japanese, apparently. Anyway, moving on.
comes at a
And I guess South Koreans, because you need to be literally like a stick man there to fit through like that game. Anyway,
sacrificial point to those metrics that I just mentioned, then what is the point? What is the actual point? You guys don't want to have this conversation, but it's a conversation that needs to be had, because yes, it's all great to be voluptuous, but what are your health metrics saying? Do you see what I'm saying?
Some people carry more weight in their lower body while some people carry it in their abdominal area. And some people genetically distribute fat differently. But just because certain fat distribution patterns are more socially accepted does not mean the health risks automatically disappear. This is where conversation around health seems to get overshadowed by conversations around desirability, as we see with this creator here.
honestly, good job.
What's interesting about her situation is that the comments turned into full-on think pieces once she posted her transformation. But she is literally a certified personal trainer with a degree in kinesiology. And this is somebody whose entire career is based around understanding the human body, fitness, and body composition.
I went down to the UK and every month from April I literally traveled for extended periods of time, and of course I struggled with my fitness journey. Who wants to be in London or Japan or Turkey or any of these places and not overindulge in food? Like, who doesn't want to do that? Like, I want it all. Like that Sharpay clip. I want it all, I want it. That was me. Like, that was me with everything. And it wasn't as bad because I knew that if I prioritize walking and in places like that, you are just going to be walking a lot. But I put myself in situations to binge. I put myself in.
Here's a little advice that comes according to studies. Not only should you walk, it is highly recommended to do strength training, resistance training. Not only will you significantly benefit from it when you're old, it might even reverse to a degree, even if you're older, right? Even if you listen to this and you're older, it might even reverse immobility. Shocking, I know. In fact, do not only walk. Strength training. Important. Do it. It is very important. It is incredibly beneficial. I think we should teach that a lot more, that not only should you go walk, you should not only diet, you should in fact do some form of resistance training. It is incredibly useful, important, and just beneficial overall. Do it. Do it. Doesn't matter how you do it, even if it's just like, or using your own body weight, but do it. It is, right? We are not teaching our kids how beneficial actually working out is. We should definitely move that in as well. Anyway, just wanted to say that. It is incredibly beneficial.
A lot of situations to binge, and it was really hard. It was really hard on me. And so literally up until the end of my travels, which was in October, I definitely like reverted a little bit and I put back on some weight and I just struggled with confidence and all those other things. I gave myself a month and that's where I'm at now, and I feel like I'm damn near fully back to, not fully, but like I would say like 90% back to where I feel my most confident, my most beautiful. And I was able to do that in a month because I know exactly what the fuck I'm doing, because I've been doing this journey for almost 9 years now. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've been doing it for a while. So like,
She openly talked about gaining weight, but the second she leaned out and became more defined, suddenly people had a lot to say. In the comments, people said things like, was she never happy with herself? Is this body dysmorphia?
Why is it
I'm gonna take my skull and bash it into a red brick wall. How about what? Fun fact: not everyone has to be happy about their body or comfortable in it. Shocking, I know. If you gain like weight and you don't like what you're seeing in the mirror, hot take. If you don't like what you're seeing in the mirror, that does not mean that something up there is wrong. Maybe actually something is wrong with your body. Shocker, I know. She's fit and smart. Shocking. Like, oh, she's not like happy with her body. Yes. Yes, and that's fine. That's okay. Because the good part is, not only are you allowed to be not happy with your body, you are allowed to do something, so you are happy with your body. And anyway, it's that simple. It's like, right? I got like, when I did my voluntary social year, so like what, 4 years ago, right? I did, was it 3? 4 years ago, right? And I started dropping weight like really quickly, really fast. Okay, fair. I was starve maxing, to be fair. But I also got like these weird comments of like, "Don't lose too much weight, bro." I was like 30 kilograms over what I should look like. What should be considered normal weight at my height, right? I'm 5'7", 170 centimeters. Like, what are we talking about? But I had also got these weird comments of like, "Oh, don't lose too much weight." And I'm like, I am fat. Are you blind? It's crazy. It's like, right? We have like really interesting priorities for like drinking fine, smoking fine, hoeing around fine, right? But the moment somebody drops some weight, people are questioning if everything's all right. Never the opposite. When people gain weight, it's never people ask, is everything all right?
everyone suddenly obsessed with getting thinner?
Now, before I continue, I do want to acknowledge that some people probably were expressing genuine concern, especially with the times we're in right now, where conversations around body image, diet culture, and unrealistic beauty standards are everywhere online. And also, a lot of people probably didn't see her YouTube video where she explained her struggle with binging and weight gain. So I can understand why, on the surface, some people may have looked at the transformation and immediately thought that she already looked good before. But I think what stood out to me is how some of the comments stopped being about concern and started becoming projection. Because when you really read through the comments, a lot of them were less about her actual health and more people were projecting their own preferences, insecurities, and expectations onto her body. And the thing is, these comments had hundreds of likes, meaning a lot of people agreed with them. A lot of them were coming from Black women too, which honestly proves my point even more that this
I feel like it's more so that also these people are projecting their own inadequacy onto her, right? Again, as usual, this kind of feels like a mirror, right? I would argue this is closer to like a mirror. It's basically reflecting basically um the way that they are unhealthy. It's signaling to them that they're unhealthy, but they don't like to be confronted with that.
is something deeply rooted within the Black community when it comes to how Black women are expected to present ourselves physically. Because the moment a Black woman starts deviating away from what's culturally accepted, it even gets to the point where her expertise is starting to get questioned. And I think people completely ignore what she actually said in the video because she never said that she hated herself or bigger bodies were unattractive. She literally just said that she didn't feel comfortable and wanted to feel better in her body again. Talia being a fitness coach herself, there are many fitness coaches online who are significantly leaner and people do not react to them the same way. For example, there's Caroline Gervin or Gervin. I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly. She is an extremely lean and muscular fitness coach, and millions of women follow her programs specifically because of her physique, strength, and fitness expertise. Her body literally speaks for her work. But when a Black woman pursued the same level of leanness,
There's a good chance that this is still unhealthy. So here's my hot take. The healthy, as far as this I could be yapping nonsense, so correct me if I'm wrong. The healthy body fat percentage for women is between 20 and is like around 20, as far as 20%, as far as I am aware. And I can tell you, thus, as lean as this lady is, she probably has issues. There's a chance she has issues with her fertility, her hormones, because if you go too low on the if you go too lean, anyone will have health issues. This is not something that you should try to achieve, right? For example, when there's like dudes who want to be Zac Efron, right, during Baywatch. That is impossible to hold. Yes, that is impossible to hold. You cannot hold that. And I can guarantee you, this lady is probably also not consistently holding, for at least from the pictures, she is not consistently holding that leanness. That is my take. I don't think she's actually holding this consistently. And if she does, the average person cannot. The average person does not have the money, not the endurance. Like, this is just for a very select few that can do this. So this is likely also still unhealthy, but it's not perceived this way, from what I can tell.
athleticism, or definition, suddenly it seems that it becomes controversial. It's almost like once a Black woman starts deviating from what's culturally expected physically, suddenly all of her expertise.
I think this is more so has to do with the fact that we can see the fitness, like the weight loss journey, right? Right? I feel like this, right? Because like all she has showed now with women getting criticized is when they lost weight. Not when they already were like this, but when they lost weight. So I feel like this has more so to do with the process of like these women deviating by losing weight and not deviating the way they were born already, right? Because if a woman is naturally skinny, the reaction is probably very different from when these people, and I'm gonna say this, they are projecting how they feel about themselves because they're overweight, they're obese, they're projecting that onto these ladies, right? And that's why they react this allergic. All he ate was chicken for that roll. He was even blending it. That's what I'm saying. You cannot lean too hold, and I don't think this woman can hold that either, unless she has like very strong genetics, and even that, right? It's probably still unhealthy. But yeah, I feel like it is mostly projection because they see that somebody is losing weight. And now they feel rejected because they were following this person, right? Because most of the time people react allergic if it's like a influencer that was always a bit bigger and now they're losing weight and now it's like, she no longer looks like me. Kind of don't like this.
Discipline and knowledge gets thrown out of the window. And it's like, why is her body being treated like something that exists for public approval instead of something she has the right to feel comfortable and healthy in?
Because, like, yeah, a part of me doesn't want to be thick because I think we always just have this expectation that Black women are going to be thick and that Black women are over sexualized. So we think that Black women's desirability always has to be in alignment with what is most sexually desirable about a woman's body. So I don't want to be put in that corner. But at the same time, I also don't want to be put in the I guess strive for the white standard, which is all about making your body as small as humanly possible. And in a way, I guess is more damning. It's more damaging, I guess, to the body to choose to just like not eat anything at all. Like, I guess I'd rather just be eating a lot of protein and just focusing on getting as much booty gains as humanly possible, you know? But I don't really like any of these standards. Like, I am pro thick. I'm pro girls getting thick because I do think it's going to give you a better body image to engage with yourself with the pursuit of, like, I'm not trying to get as small as humanly possible. I'm going to focus.
That depends on what you consider thick. That highly depends on what you consider thick. If you're 10 kilograms overweight, but you don't notice it, you're still overweight. The question is like, what do you consider? Like, the question is like, we should not focus on what I feel like is thick or what I feel like is an appropriate weight, an appropriate way to look. We should focus on strictly what's medically fine and what's not medically fine. What's healthy and what's not healthy. Because if you have a definition of thick that is technically still being obese, then you're not thick. You're just being obese. And like this, like, oh, I'm pro thick. No. What you are is basically you are pro a certain way body fat is distributed, but you're not pro right. That is all. Unless that is the most I can give you here, right? Other than that, you might actually just be glorifying obesity, but I can't talk to her. I can't look her into her head, so I wouldn't know.
On strength, and I'm going to focus on like eating food. Like, I do think those are better goals. And if like the only way we can convince women to do that is to do it under the guise of getting thick, then like, okay, fine, let's do that, you know? But like, as a Black woman,
see, instead of covering it up and you know, see, maybe they're all the reason why we're fucked up in the head is because we consistently choose to lie to ourselves because oh no, I might feel bad, I might get offended. I don't care. I'm gonna tell you the way it is. If you're fat, then you're fat, and I'm gonna tell you that. It's that simple. It really is. If you're smoking and it's disgusting and it smells like shit, I will tell you that. If you're drinking and you spend all your time in like clubs partying like a loser, I will tell you that. I am done like sweetening my words so people don't get offended. What we need more is the truth. That builds also resistance. Anyway.
I don't know if I want to be thick. I don't know, like, it doesn't feel revolutionary to me.
I think that shows
Be healthy. How about that? Be healthy. It's that simple. Strive for a healthy body fat percentage. Strive for a healthy muscle percentage. Why not? Why not? Do what's medically healthy.
that there are certain expectations placed on Black women physically within the Black community. Like, there's this pressure to remain within a specific version of femininity, whether it's being curvy, soft, thick, anything that's probably visibly desirable to men. Once a Black woman starts stepping outside of
I disagree. I just disagree that it's all men. I just disagree. I think nobody is glorifying, right? I would say nobody is glorifying obesity more than women who are essentially saying no to like beauty standards. But in the pursuit of saying no to beauty standards, they are going in the opposite extreme, which means I'm gonna die at 30 from a heart attack.
that, even if it's for her own health and fitness goals or simply personal preference, people start acting like she's doing something wrong. I think that creates a lot of barriers for Black women in fitness. On a personal level, I think it's very common in the Black community for family or friends to project their own insecurities onto women who are very disciplined.
I think that's not particularly right a Black thing. I think that's almost all right. That's almost all in almost all fields, right? There's people who project their own failure, right? But there's parents who project their own failure onto their children, which is why they're pushing their children to essentially become what if I succeeded. We have that as well. I don't think, right? We have that for body, we have that for success, we have that for everything, right? People projecting their own failures, insecurities, even excuses so they can stay the way they are by turning you into that or keeping you the way you are. We have that. That is just something that humans naturally do. All humans.
With fitness. I remember when I was growing up, especially around like my teenage years, before I started my fitness journey, I was usually the bigger person. And people had absolutely no problem commenting on my body back then. If you grew up as a bigger person, you probably heard things about your weight all the time.
Well, I'm the first non-fat person in my family. I got the exact same thing, just the reverse.
Like saying,
Oh, you're big boned, you're big,
or
you even need to lose weight.
all of that stuff. When I started my weight loss journey at 17 and actually began losing weight and working out more consistently, or just overall being more active and taking fitness seriously, I honestly thought the comments would stop. But instead, the comments just changed because now it became,
Oh, you need to stop losing weight. You're getting too small.
and my personal favorite,
If you lift weights too much, you're gonna look like a man.
True. True, though honestly, I feel like it's like crazy, right? I've heard this women say more, particularly older women, right? But I've heard this women say, I've actually heard this, heard men say this less, and women say it more. But that might just be personal experience. I don't know. We'd have to look at data.
looking back now, it's honestly crazy to me because it made me realize that the issue was never really about health. And that's what really made me start questioning how Black women's bodies are viewed socially. Because it started feeling less like a concern for health and more like people wanting women to stay within a very specific acceptable look. And honestly, I think that's why seeing those comments under those creators.
Hot take, this might also be literally built on racism, but racism towards white people. Fun fact. Because what you essentially say, a lot of them are saying, right? We've heard it earlier, right? You don't want to have the beauty standards of white people, right? We don't do that. No whites, you. We don't do that, right? Essentially, right? If you want to say that. So technically, you could argue that Black women being fat is technically an issue of racism against white people. It might be a reach, my guy, but whatever. Good day, good day.
Post stood out to me so much because I recognize the exact same mindset immediately. At the end of the day, I think Black women should be allowed to pursue whatever fitness goals make them feel healthiest, strongest, and happiest without constantly being told what other people prefer their bodies to look like. Because fitness
Hot take, I don't think healthiest is the word to use here. Whatever they're comfortable in, but I don't necessarily like that as well because there's no there's no universal like this is health. I feel healthy because just because you see somebody who's like 30 kilograms obese may still feel healthy, but they're objectively not. That's why I'm like this like feel healthy. I don't like that. I don't like that. I think you should pursue what actually is healthy. What is factually on data based healthy, not what you feel like you're healthy. Feel like is healthy. Anyway,
should not revolve around whether strangers online find your body attractive enough. And I think that's a bigger issue I'm trying to get at with this video. A lot of women, especially Black women, get reduced down to aesthetics to a point where people completely ignore our health, our comfort, our goals, and even our expertise. Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comments because I know this is a layered conversation and I'm interested in hearing different perspectives. And if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications because I'm going to be posting a lot more commentary around fitness culture, wellness trends, influencers, and just online conversations that I think we really need to start unpacking.
well, that's pretty much the end of the video, right? Well, if I show her the male side, she's gonna be shocked because most of the things we see in TV, which is very interesting, right, in social media, well, it's either edited or they're stuffing in copious amounts of substances that kills them at like 30 or 40, right? We have right now influencers, right, that are literally like we have male fitness influencers that are dying in the next 5 years, and they will all die en masse because they're pumping themselves with full with steroids, right? I'm gonna say, right? The Trent twins are younger than me, but they look like mid 30s. They're almost starting to look like 40s, which is kind of crazy, right? Because it ages you significantly. Balding, all that good stuff. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. The internet has disproven the theory that stupidity is caused by a lack of information. True, true, true. Anyway, We've got this now. We've got this now. I'm gonna get canceled for saying what I said in this video, but we do not care.